Hey everybody, I'm John Granado. That's Josh Jordan. You can hear us on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. Josh also runs SportsMapHouston.com. See his work there. And hit subscribe if you haven't yet so that you get all of our content here at SportsMap HOU. Jeff Bagwell made some headlines this week. Told the media about his role in the direction of the Astros organization. He said he thinks the Astros were too analytics driven. Is this a typical former player who is averse to the concept of analytics, or does he have a point here, Josh?
In some instances, I think he has a point. You know, the first thing I point to is I bet Bagwell believes we'd have another World Series if it weren't for some analytics. You know, pulling Greinke, third time through the batting order, first sign of trouble. They pull Greinke, out of Game 7 in 2019, and then look what happens. You know, I'm sure Bagwell was thinking, this is why you traded for this guy. And, he gave up a solo home run, and then he kind of pitched around Soto, which isn't the dumbest thing in the world to do. And then they pulled him from the game to pull in Will Harris, a guy they'd seen a bunch, and said he was tired before the game. So I'm sure that's something that goes through his mind. I think swinging at first pitches all the time is something that Bagwell isn't a huge fan of. Refusing to go the other way against the shift. Yep. There's a lot of these things where, I don't think he's crazy. You're not supposed to steal in Moneyball. Bagwell was a guy that would snag a base. So in some aspects, I think he might have some points.
Well, and that's also typical former player, right?
Yep.
I mean, so I think both can be right. He's a typical former player that says, how come you can't hit the ball to the other side when they're shifting on you like this? He's a guy who says, why wouldn't I want to steal the base if I can go get it? Why wouldn't I? Why does it have to be Powerball all the time? About the Greinke thing, I don't know if AJ was using all those analytics. I think that he was, if it wasn't Verlander or Cole, you're going to get pulled early. He did that all year to Greinke. So I don't know. I don't know if that was. And by the way, analytics would have told him to get Cole sitting right there, bring him in the game. Okay, so I'm not sure that he was using all that analytics stuff with bringing in Will Harris. But that all said, I think that both are true. I think that I think he's right. I think that there is too much analytics. Analytics told us that Yuli Gurriel shouldn't have been playing in the postseason because of the regular season that he had, that Martin Maldonado should not have been playing because of the regular season that he had. And, and look at those guys and what they did. Analytics will tell you a lot of things trying to guess what is going to happen in the future by using past numbers as opposed to knowing who's clutch, who can handle the situations, who really is going to come up with that big game-saving play defensively. Analytics just doesn't do that.
It doesn't. And I'm sure, during that Mariners marathon game where they just needed a scratch across the run, nobody could get a bunt down, and then you just needed a base hit to get a run on the board. I'm sure that, bothered Bagwell as well. So, yeah, I mean, look, he's got some points, but, numbers matter too. Analytics, they do work. This team is kind of built off of that, so we can't just turn a blind eye to that either.
Do you want to see Bags as the GM?
Nope. I don't. I just feel like you got Dusty. He's got that old school mindset. You got Bagwell being a consultant. He's got that mindset as well. I want a balance. I would love to see a guy like Stearns, somebody that's a little more numbers driven. Like a Luno to be your GM. Somebody with some experience. That's the big one there. At least Stearns has some experience. I just don't like the idea. We've seen, some players, be elevated to coaches and GMs before, and there's a couple occasions where it's worked out. I think John Lynch has done okay with the 49ers, but overall, no, I want somebody that's been there before.
I know Bags a little bit. I was in that locker room all the time, and I've seen him on golf courses and whatnot. I don't know that he knows the work that goes into that, and I don't know the organizational structure that these Astros have put together, that Jeff Luhnow put together. I think that is the key. It has been a well-oiled machine even after Luhnow left because of the way Luhnow left it. But one of the huge things is that you have a system in the Latin American countries where you're able to bring guys in. If Jeff Bagwell did that, if he got another Azacampo to come in here and to take care of that business, and they had a good plan, and you saw, it's not hard to figure out what Jeff Luhnow did. It is hard to be able to have the eye for the talent, to develop the talent. I don't know that Jeff Bagwell has all of that, but if he could put together a good organization, I would have no problem with Jeff Bagwell doing it, because if he had the people in place and he knew that those people did their job and they did their job well, it could continue to run as the Astros are running right now, only with a guy that knows baseball as well at the head of the class. As long as he does keep that structure, I would be fine with Jeff Bagwell.
I think Jim Crane's right there with you, John, and here's why. If that Michael Schwab stuff was right about their interest in A.J. Hinch isn't a guy with GM experience. He's another baseball guy that we've heard that Crane likes. So, if A.J. Hinch didn't want to do it, it wouldn't be a surprise if Crane's looking at Bagwell or Brad Ausmus or somebody like that he would want to bring in another baseball guy. And I don't think Bagwell knows what he's doing. He's saying all the things that Crane wants to hear. I noticed he brought up, Jim knows the game of baseball he played in college. And Jim Crane's like, look at that, a Hall of Famer's talking about all the baseball I know that I played in college. That's pretty smart on Bagwell's part.
Well, let's face it, he does, though.
He does.
I mean, he's the guy that forced Luno to go get Justin Verlander. He's the guy that just went out and got a break. But he's had to approve every big contract, and those big contracts have actually come through. When giving Jordan his money early, giving Bregman his money early, giving Jose Altuve his money. I mean, he's made really, really good decisions. Those weren't Luno decisions. Those were Jim Crane decisions. You don't make general managers don't make big money decisions. The owners do.
They do. I just, you look at Luno. He was the one that found Correa and McCullers and was like, hey, maybe we could bundle this together to where we can pay for both of them. And great thing about Luno, he could talk to these guys that speak Spanish in their native language. So I know he wasn't out there scouting every one of these guys himself. But I think if you are a Latin player and you can speak to the GM in Spanish, it certainly doesn't hurt.
No, I'm thrilled with him over one move, and that's getting Jordan from the Dodgers. I mean, Carlos Correa, I think, was that was going to happen no matter who was going to be the GM. He was the number 1 overall pick. Bregman might not have happened. I don't know. But Appel might not have happened as well. Brady Aikens might not have happened as well if Luno wasn't there. So, I mean, he's made mistakes as well. But the one thing that he came through huge on is taking Jordan away from the Dodgers. That was the best.